Hi, this is the weekly recap. Today is Monday the 11th. I waited for market makers in the UK to get back at their desk so that I could get data into option view from IB. I could have done it on SOAP because my program can use data from Friday at the close. Anyway, doesn't really matter. So this is the regular trade for December. The trade is doing okay. It's very, very safe, as you can see. Delta can't really build up over here because we are at the very end of the sweet spot. But really, Delta would only go marginally positive if SPX would drop 100 points or 3 to 4%. So at this point, I think I'm just going to leave it as it is. Of course, considering there's a strong resistance on 31.25 and this may be the end of the bull run, we can really spice up this trade a bit with a call credit spread or a combination in the form of probably an unbalanced IC. So maybe just putting ourselves at least one SD away, we could maybe spice it up like this and maybe just go for something like this. That's something that can be done. Delta would be flattish. Vega would take a knock. So in case of a sudden reversal, however unlikely, you can't discard that the market will, towards the end of the year, it could be either a rally or taking profits. Anything can be happening. This bull run has been kind of overstretched. So I'm pretty much happy with this profit level on this trade. But I would go now about 39 DTE. I would go for a very safe iron condor. So you can choose if you want to have only one CCS here. All those things are possible. This one looks actually better. Adding 50% more theta. So that's something that can be done. You don't necessarily need to go for a 50 point on the put side to keep the capital usage intact, just 2000, so it's okay. So those things can be done, but I'm a bit hesitant about adding to this trade. This is a walk in the park, and I'm happy the way it is. If we now look at the BTB, just about the same. This one has a lower upper expression line. It's got a little bit more negative delta, so it would handle a 3 to 4% fall probably better. It's got very little Vega, so this trade, normally the regular trade is meant to be more conservative. However, this time in a bull market, the regular trade has done better. It can yield probably 1% more, but it's making about 4% above $1,000 on this trade is actually good. So here as well, we can simplify the trade to prepare for its closing. We can actually reduce, doing like this. Now we reduce capital. We take off 2 strikes, so the closing orders would be easier, and we would probably make about a dollar here. 1.1, yeah. That's something that we could do. So we would probably guarantee about $1,000 on the upper expression line. So this is something that I may do today, just for the sake of simplifying the trade. I don't think there's any point in keeping this trade very long. Of course, it's a personal decision. In terms of profit target, if it stays around 1,000 or 4%, we would probably keep it all the way to 14 DTE. So it's 21 is 1500. So I don't think we will get to 1500. It may be a good thing just to simplify the trade and close it soon. Now a look at the January entries. This one is coping okay. Delta is still flat. There's no real need to do anything. The sweet spot takes us all the way to 31.25, the next strong resistance area. We hope, I've seen that the market has opened, or the futures are in the 30.80 area, so a little bit of a pullback would help, of course. but there's no real risk. And if you also consider that we are almost like 67 days away with only a maximum loss of maybe $700. Um, there's still plenty of time to do that. Of course, in this area, delta would build up very slowly, and that brings about the same question that we've had before. Can we have a preventive upside hedge? That's something that can be done. Probably just a single call calendar, not much. Maybe placing it somewhere about 2%. So it would be maybe around here. So just a tiny, you see, even one would raise delta to go positive. So I wouldn't actually do it even right now. I would wait for at least a little bit of negative delta to build up. There's no need either to be Vega positive. The call calendar is not very much suited for a downside hedge anyway. So of course we would get a bit of a Vega lift for a while, but this would not prevent the trade from losing some profits at some point. I'll keep it in mind, but nothing to do right now. The buy the book trade is maybe losing a tiny bit more, yeah, $200. And this one has maybe a little bit more cover here, so it would probably recover quickly if the market would drop another percent. Let's just hope that the market will just congest and retrace. Both trades don't have much of a downside cover. Incidentally, we looked at December being in a good shape all the way to 29.70, 29.80. This one has some shorts around 29.50. I would say 29.50 to 29.70 would be a decision point for both trades that this December and January, and there's a chance that I will close December in any case soon. So really nothing to do on either trade. If we now have a quick look at what the Russell is doing. I put on a baby Rhino on Friday. I should have the closing prices now. Okay, it's not doing too badly. The ratios are a bit strong Vega-wise, so I will probably have to act on this. I will see whether the market drops, because even just dropping 10 to 15 points would make the ratios look better. So I usually adjust early in the day, but this time I will probably wait for an hour or two to see whether the Russell goes back to more or less the upper longs, 1590 or below, where I think at 1590 it would be more or less alert level in terms of Vega theta ratio, but there would not be any urgency in that regard. Okay, there's no need to say much more on this. I'm going to be busy most of the day releasing my SOAP version 0.99. I haven't called it 1.0. Anyway, it's a free trial release and it's available to anyone, no registration required, and it will work until the end of the year. So by that time, I will implement Vol Surface and I will add all the registration stuff to the program. Contact me on Slack for a trial version or at Bruno at options-masters.com. Okay, thank you for watching and see you a bit later on Slack.